Vol Nation, stand up. It's time to represent the 865. No limits, no strings attached. It's just us and Tennessee sports. You are now listening to the League of Their Own. Now here is your host, Josh Snyder.
Holy smokes, what's up guys? It's your boy Josh with the League of Their Own, and yes, this is the first show of the 2019-2020 season for us, for the League of Their Own. Yay, can we get a hand clap in here somewhere? Perfect. Alright guys, so today's show is going to be broadcasted on Twitter, put it on Instagram somehow, and YouTube. So now we are going to have the video recorded podcast on YouTube only, so you can see if I have a guest on or so on and so forth. You can see my interactions. Different camera angles this year, so we're going to be spicing it up a little bit. And then Twitter will just have the straight audio, and we'll go from there with it. Facebook will do the same. We're only going to do live shows certain days of the week. Typically, we're going to be going live on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube. We'll figure it out. We're going on live on all those platforms except for Facebook. We'll do Facebook once in a blue moon. So there you have it. So let's get into today's show where I break down what I think the Tennessee football record will be at the end of the year. And everybody loves this part. They just hate my honesty. If you pick Tennessee to win 10 games, 11 games, or 12 games, calm it down, sit in the back, relax, get a drink of whatever you're sipping on, because we've got work to do. 10, 11 games, 12 games I don't think is on the is on this schedule this year. Unfortunately, we do have a fresh, first 3 games of the Tennessee football season. Besides BYU, they could give us trouble, but we could potentially be going 3-0 into Florida. So I'm going to go down every game, and we are going to talk about every opponent. So here we go. All right, so let's talk about Tennessee's first opponent this year, and that is Georgia State Panthers. The Georgia State Panthers, let's give you a little rundown of how they looked last year. And obviously, you guys know my pick on this one. Everybody knows Tennessee should handle Georgia State. But let's take a look at them last year. Their strength of schedule last year was 124th. This is ranking-wise, so out of 31, I believe. 124th. Let's see. Their projected win-loss record for last year was 2-10, and that's exactly what they went last year. They went 2-10 last year. Their offense was ranked 102nd. Their defense was ranked 129th. Their special teams was 94th. Overall was 127th ranked in the nation, and they are in the Sun Belt East. So I clearly have to pick Tennessee to handle Georgia State in their first game this year, and I mean handle. They should obliterate this team. Obliterate or obliterate? Obliterate. Anyway, one of those words. They should be able to manhandle this team and get out of their first game with a win. Hopefully no injuries, just we need to get a win, a big win, to start off the 2019-2020 season. I'm taking Tennessee to win this one. Starting 1-0. Moving on to BYU as our second game here. Let's take a look at BYU from last year and see what their stats look like, their rankings, so on and so forth. BYU went 6-6 last year, and they went to a bowl game, and they won their bowl game against Western Michigan 49-18. So, hey, they already got a leg up on us. They went to a bowl game, and they took care of business. Let's take a look at their rankings. Their offense ranked 78th. Their defense ranked 44th, and their special teams ranked 4th. So they had a very, very good special teams. Overall, they were ranked 52nd. But again, I think Tennessee should be able to go in that game and win that game. Now, it could be one of those games where we're on edge for the first quarter just because obviously the last game we would play would have been Georgia State, and we just kind of, it'd be one of those games where we're kind of just coming out of the gate, not taking it so seriously, I think. Because Tennessee always has those games in the first few games. Every game. We will watch them play, and then we're like, man, why are we not blowing this team out? Why are we not doing this? I think that'll be the case for this game against BYU. But and this is a night game, actually, so, we got a little bit more time to prepare, and a night game is always fun. The second game of the year is going to be a night game, which that's awesome. So I think Tennessee will handle BYU, but don't be surprised if BYU puts up a little bit of a fight. Because then again, if you look at our record from last year and you look at theirs, we're not too far apart. Clearly, we're not too far apart. So let's look at it like that. We're pretty much in the same boat. And do I think Tennessee has more talent than BYU? Absolutely. Do I think Tennessee can come out there and show their talent with these players? Yes, but does Pruitt have these guys already bought in by game 2, going out there and busting some heads and coming out with a big win? Yeah, I think Tennessee's going to win. So I've got Tennessee going 2-0 going into the Chattanooga game. So 2-0 going into the Chattanooga game. Moving on to the third game, the Chattanooga Mocs. The Chattanooga Mocs. Clearly, I'm going to take Tennessee on this one, but let's take a quick rundown of Chattanooga. Last year, they went, looks like 6-5. They were on a 4-game win streak to start their season, and they had a 2-game losing streak, and then from there, that's where, yeah. So they went 6-5 last year. Obviously, they're not in our division, so this should easily be a win for Tennessee, barring anything dramatic happens with our quarterbacks, our running backs, our offensive line. Everybody gets injured. You should chalk this up as a win. So I've got Tennessee going 3-0, starting to roll. And guess who comes up next? That would be the Florida Gators. As we know, the Florida Gators, they have our number thus far, but that's okay. We can put the wheels back on and try to ride this one out. But let's take a look at Florida last year. Obviously, Florida went 9-3 last year, went to a bowl game and won their bowl game convincingly against number 7 Michigan at the time. So Florida's pretty good. Florida is pretty good. Let's take a look at their rankings. Their offense ranked 28th in the nation. Defense ranked 21st. Special teams was 63rd. And overall, they were ranked 14th. So Florida is going to be one of those true test games right here, okay? All right, we had the first 3 games, kind of maybe some walkthroughs, but we don't want to call them that. But they hopefully win the first 3 games of the season. And then we have Florida obviously rolling, and they've got these recruits, and they're going to be hard to beat. They will be hard to beat. But I can't pick any other team for Tennessee to beat this good on our schedule, so I'm going to have to pick Tennessee winning this game. Very, 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 very close. Very close. So I've got Tennessee beating Florida. Now we're going to get further down the schedule, and you're going to be hating me in a minute. But I got Tennessee beating Florida, going in at 4-0. I hope that's true. Going in at 4-0, and then we have coming up next would be Georgia after the bye week, because we have a bye week after the Florida game. So I have Tennessee going 4-0, hitting the bye week, and then up comes Georgia. And let's see if the wheels start coming off at that point. So taking a look at Georgia from last year, obviously Georgia went 10-2 last year, made it to a bowl game, and got beat by the old Hook'em Longhorn. The Texas Longhorns beat Georgia in their bowl game, and I was very excited on that. Very excited. So anyway, their overall season record was 10-2. and lost in the bowl game. So we're going to say they went 10-3 the entire year because I want to give them that last loss. So let's take a look at their ranking. Obviously, their rankings were pretty high. Their offense ranked third in the nation. Defense was fifth in the nation. Special teams 50th. And overall, number 2. Okay, clearly. So their strength of schedule was actually a 7. I'm sorry, yeah, 7th in the nation. And it wasn't that bad of a schedule. Let me just take a quick look at their schedule. They had South Carolina was top 25 at that time. They had Missouri, LSU. I guess they could say the strength of schedule was pretty good. LSU, Florida, Kentucky, Auburn, all in a row. What a daunting stretch there, but they managed to go 4-3-1 on that one, on that stretch. But anyway, Georgia looking pretty good. Obviously, they lost Justin Fields, but and some other players. But I don't think Georgia's going to miss a beat. I do think that their time is not now. I believe that they have some work to do as well. They've got great talent, obviously. They have it every year. But could Tennessee squeak out a win against Georgia? I'm going to be all honest here. I don't think so. Even though they're playing in Thompson Bowling Arena.
You stupid.
Time has yet to be determined. I just don't think, man, we'd have to be clicking on all cylinders to make a run at Georgia. And I just don't think Tennessee has it right yet. So I've got Tennessee losing to Georgia and sitting right now 4-1 going into Mississippi State, which Mississippi State would come to Knoxville. So let's jump on Mississippi State. So Mississippi State coming into Knoxville, I like Mississippi State. Their quarterback, that young guy, tall, lanky guy, but he can run too. I like the way they look, if that tells you anything. So Mississippi State last year went 8-4, and they lost their bowl game to Iowa. Okay, they had some notable wins last year. Obviously, Auburn had a down year last year. Clearly, they beat Auburn, who was number 8 at the time. Beat Texas A&M, and that's pretty much their notable wins. They actually lost to Alabama 24-0. Now I don't know who was playing that game for Alabama, but that seems like a low score. I didn't watch that game personally, so I have no clue. So Mississippi State's rankings from last year, their offense ranked 33rd. Their defense ranked 6th in the nation. Their special teams was terrible, 121. And overall, they were ranked 12. So, I mean, that's pretty good. I think Mississippi State is going in the right direction with their team as well, with their squad. Do I think Tennessee can win this game against Mississippi State? Absolutely. Do I think that Mississippi State could give us a run? Absolutely. So this is one of those 50-50 games for me, and I have another 50-50 game, but I'm going to take the home field advantage on this one and say Tennessee pulls out the win against Mississippi State. So we are sitting at 5-1 right now. Man, I would love this to be true. So I've got Tennessee sitting at 5-1, the only loss to Georgia. Now, 5-1 rolling into Tuscaloosa. Now, I don't really have to pull up anything for Alabama at this point. We know who Alabama is. We know their reputation. We know their rankings are going to be sky high. So there's no point in me even pulling those and even discussing those. I have Tennessee losing to Alabama, no question. So I just have them losing to Alabama. Alabama's just too strong, man. Even though they got obliterated. Am I saying that damn word? Obliterated or yeah. Even though they got torched by Clemson in the championship game, which I love to see, by the way. Thank you, Clemson. I just think Alabama's too strong for us. We've got work to do, and we say this every year. We've got work to do, but we're getting the guys in here. We're getting some big son of a guns in here. I'll tell you that. So Alabama clearly is going to have our number again this year. So with that being said, we are sitting at 5-2, 5-2 with the 2 losses from Georgia and Alabama, moving into the South Carolina game, which is in Thompson Bowling Arena. This is not basketball. in Neyland Stadium. Did I say that earlier too? I'm pretty sure I said Thompson Bowling Arena. Where's the little beep, that thing? Anyway, so we're moving into South Carolina. Let's take a look at South Carolina, and we will see how Tennessee fares against them. So South Carolina last year went 7-5. Remember, they added a game at the end of the year because they had to cancel that Marshall game. I believe it was for that hurricane at that point in time. So they went 7-5 last year. No notable wins, it doesn't look like here. They played number 2 Clemson, number 15 Florida, played them pretty well. Played number 22 Texas A&M, Kentucky, and then Georgia, and they lost all of those games. They obviously squeaked a win on us, 27-24. So they went 7-5 last year. Went to a bowl game and got beat by Virginia, 28-0. So let's take a look at their rankings from last year. Their offense ranked 21st in the nation. Defense was 58th. Special teams was 31st, and overall was 31st as well. So this is one of those 50-50 toss-up games for me because South Carolina, when they play, obviously when they play good, they can beat us. Well, if any team plays good, they can beat anybody. But South Carolina seems to have that, that knack for us that they like to beat us. Now, they were playing in Knoxville in Neyland Stadium, so I've got to give Tennessee the edge on this. So I've got Tennessee winning against South Carolina. So as of now, we are sitting at, what are we here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got Tennessee at 6-2. 6-2 would be huge. Huge. I'm talking about wow, just huge. Just huge. It would be huge. If Tennessee was 6-2 at this point in the season, going into UAB, it would be. I couldn't be happier. Nobody could be happier. So let's take a look at UAB. I'm not going to pull up any of their stats, but they do have some good, talented players. Because obviously UAB, what was it, last year or the year before, they had terminated all football operations, and now they're back. So they're coming back, and they're going to be playing some football next year, and obviously Tennessee is on their schedule. They will be playing in Neyland Stadium, so I've got Tennessee winning that game right there. Tennessee winning against UAB. Tennessee sitting at 7-2. Is that possible? Let me just recheck my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got them at 7-2. 7-2. That's insane. I hope I am correct this year. I don't remember what I think I was 7-5 last year, and we were just a game or so off of that one. So I think I'm pretty close this year. I want to say I'm close. I want you guys to love me, so I'm going to say we're sitting at 7-2 right now, going into Kentucky. Right now, we've already made a bowl game. Obviously, with the win over South Carolina, we'd be at a bowl game. Boom, 6 wins. Boom, bowl game. So, 7-2 is what I have Tennessee thus far going into the Kentucky game. And let's take a peek at Kentucky because they did lose Snell last year, or this year. So, Snell is gone. So, let's take a look at Kentucky. So, Kentucky went 9-3 last year. Very impressive for Kentucky. Obviously, we never see them win 9 games. But they had a stellar year last year. Obviously, beating Florida last year, beating Mississippi State, which was ranked at the time, and went to a bowl game and played against Penn State and beat Penn State. And Penn State was pretty good. So, Kentucky's going to be one of them struggle games as well. Even though they lost Snell, let's take a look at their rankings first. Their offense ranked 52nd in the nation. Defense was 19th. Special teams was 52nd, and overall was 24th. I just feel with the loss of Snell, I don't know how many key guys they lost on defense. I really don't. But, man, this is in Kentucky. This is typically a night game in November. I'm going to say, man, I don't know. I'm going to be completely honest with you. This is the last 3 games to me are kind of like, man, who do I really go for? Even though I have them beating, Florida, but that's in Mississippi State and then South Carolina. These last 3 games, Kentucky, Missouri, Vanderbilt, I don't know. So we're sitting at 7-2 right now. Is my best guess, and I mean guess. I want to say Tennessee loses against Kentucky for the fact that it's a night game, it's in Kentucky, be nice and cold, and we're not going to only lose 2 games this year. I think we're going to lose. You'll find out at the very end, but as of right now, sitting at 7-3 with a loss to Kentucky. Shun me now, shun me later, whatever. I've got them losing to Kentucky in Kentucky, and that puts them at 7-3 going into Missouri, and then coming back home to face Vanderbilt. So let's take a look at Missouri. So Missouri last year, they had a pretty decent year last year. They obviously whipped Tennessee 50-17 last year. Embarrassing. Their overall record was, let's see here, they went 8-4 last year. 8-4. Wow. Missouri went 8-4 last year, went to a bowl game, lost against Oklahoma State. Like I said, they whipped up on us pretty good. They beat Florida last year, who was 11th at the time, 38-17. They put up a fight against Georgia, but came up short there. And Missouri. They looked hot last year, I guess. So here's where you guys start to hate me even more. I'm picking Tennessee to go on a losing streak here and lose to Missouri in Missouri. It's probably a night game as well. Unless, I don't know. I don't know if we have typically 2 night back-to-back games. But actually, we have a bye week. I'm sorry, we have a bye week after the Kentucky. So the Kentucky game is on November the 9th, and the Missouri game is on the 23rd. Ooh, do I want to reconsider that? Do I? After a loss to Kentucky, does Tennessee pick themselves back up after a bye week and go beat Missouri? I'm going to say no, even though they lost Drew Lock. I'm going to probably eat my words at the end of the year, but I always do, so who cares? I'm going to say Tennessee loses to Missouri because, like I said, I just don't see them losing only 2 or 3 games. So we're sitting at 7-4 right now. Going into Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, the new Kings of Tennessee, right? Until we prove otherwise. Vanderbilt has clearly taken over the reins as the champs of Tennessee because we have not. We have not proven to be worthy of being called Tennessee's football team yet. Hate me for that? I don't care. But we haven't. Proof is in the pudding, and we have not proved anything against Vanderbilt. So Vanderbilt runs Tennessee. As you know, Tennessee lost to Vanderbilt last year, 38-13. We only managed 13 points against Vanderbilt. I don't know about that. Man, that's tough. And Vanderbilt, where'd they go last year? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They went 6-6 last year. 6-6 last year. Okay? Made it to a bowl game. Lost to Baylor 45-38. That's not too shabby for Vanderbilt. Let's take a look at their rankings. Their offensive rankings, 36 in the nation. Defense was 60th. Special teams was 72 and 45 overall. But I have Tennessee in Knoxville, in Neyland Stadium, finally getting that monkey off their back and beating Vanderbilt. Putting us at a total at the end of the year, 8-4. 8-4 is what I have Tennessee going this year. Obviously, making a bowl game. Who knows where we'll go if we make a bowl game, but I have them going 8-4, which is very rare for me because I I think I just criticized everybody for saying, let's not say Tennessee's going to win 9, 10, 11, 12 games, but I didn't put that 8 in there. So maybe I'm in the clear with that because I did not say 8 games. Last year I had them 7-5. Obviously, we did not meet that expectation. Now I have them going 8-4. Like, for the first time, I have them winning 8 games. 8 games. And their losses coming to, let me run back down the losses here. Georgia, Alabama, Kentucky, Missouri, and where's the other one? Did I get it? Wait. Alabama, Kentucky, Missouri, Georgia. I have them somewhere else losing to somebody, and I don't. I don't know. I forgot. But anyway, I've got them going 8-4 at the end of the year, and that's, man, I wish that would come true. So anyway, there you have it, guys. My first show of the year. Can I get another hand clap right here? No? There it is. Okay, thank you. Finally. So the first show of the year, the audio portion of the podcast. Listen to it on Stitcher Radio, iTunes, wherever you can listen to podcasts. We are on there, all right? We are on there. Thank you to the Anchor app for allowing us to do that. So now we are broadcast on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and all the other platforms you can listen to podcasts, all right? So there you have it. Tennessee going 8-4 at the end of the year. And, I hope I'm right. If I'm right, then boy, oh boy, I don't know. But guys, there you have it. 8-4 at the end of the year. Tennessee's predicted record by yours truly, Josh from the League of Their Own. Don't forget to like, subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at The Lotto Podcast, Instagram at The Lotto Podcast, and on Facebook, The League of Their Own. Guys, as always, go Vols. What's up, guys? Thanks for watching The League of Their Own. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, watch our latest upload, and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for our random giveaways.